Welcome to the PM Show, the show where I discuss sports news regarding baseball and football. Today I am going to be discussing the trade that I woke up to between the New York Yankees and the Minnesota Twins. So I woke up this morning to see that the Yankees have traded catcher Gary Sanchez and third baseman Gio Urshela to the Twins for catcher from the minor leagues Ben Rotvitt, shortstop Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and the big name third baseman Josh Donaldson. And to put it nicely, I am not happy with this trade. Before I get into the good thing about this, before I get into the bad things about it, I will discuss the good thing. The Yankees are getting rid of Gary Sanchez. Because over the last 3 years, Gary Sanchez has been probably one of the more frustrating Yankee players to watch because he seems to want to hit for the fences, and otherwise he strikes out. So over the last 3 years, in 2019, Gary Sanchez had an average of .232. He hit 34 home runs, and he had just 92 normal base hits. In 2020, he hit for a really, really bad average of .147. He had 23 base hits and 10 home runs. And in 2021, he hit for an average of .204 with 78 hits and 23 home runs. So Gary Sanchez is obviously just wanting to hit for the fences, and that's it. So I'm happy to kind of see the Yankees get rid of him because I've called him Mr. Strikeout for the last 3 years. So I'm happy to see him go. Everything else I'm not happy about. The big name that we're getting rid of is our third baseman Gio Urshela, who I believe is one of the best third baseman defensively in the league. The dude has made some spectacular plays over the last 3 years with the Yankees. And also his batting statistics have been pretty good. In 2019, he had a .314 average with 139 base hits and 21 home runs. In the pandemic-shortened season of 2020, he hit for an average of .298 with 6 home runs and 45 base hits. And in 2021, he had an average. This was his lowest average with the Yankees at a .267, which in my eyes is still respectable. He had 112 hits and 14 home runs. So he has been a very solid player for the Yankees. And to see, and I'll discuss a bit more on this as we go along. And so in return, the Yankees are getting a minor league catcher named Ben Rotvitt. Shortstop Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. I'm not going to give you Rotvitt stats because it's just all minor league stuff. But Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is probably, in my eyes, the best player out of this trade because in his last 3 years with Texas, in 2019, Kiner-Falefa had a .238 average, which isn't the best, which is kind of under .250, not really good. He did have he had 1 home run, and he had 48 base hits. So nothing too crazy. He did improve the 2020 shortened season with a .280 batting average, 3 home runs, and 59 base hits. And in 2021 is probably his most impressive year where he hit for an average of .271. He had 8 home runs, and he had 172 base hits. So hopefully if he continues the 2021 run, he should be a good base hitter with maybe a home run or two sprinkled in, a few home runs sprinkled in there. So he looks like probably the best player in this trade. And the one player I'm not happy about that we're getting is Josh Donaldson because we are effectively pretty much replacing Gio Urshela, who's 30 years old, who has probably about 5-6 more years in him. With a 36-year-old third baseman who's been regressing over the last few years. In 2019, he had a .259 average, which is respectable up there, with 37 home runs and 142 base hits. And in the shortened season of COVID, he only played 28 games. He had a .222 average and 6 home runs. And the last year in Minnesota in 2021, he had an average under .250, which is .247. He did hit 26 home runs, and he had 113 base hits. So Donaldson's following, from what I can see, is the Yankees are trying to get big home run hitters, which I feel like the Yankees is going to be the Yankees downfall because they seem to be wanting to get guys who just hit home runs. Home run here, home run there, and strikeout. That's all they look for is those big home runs. They don't seem to be building a team that wants to hit singles, doubles, and get those short hits to drive people around the bases. So it works in the regular season. It gets you in the playoffs, but in the playoffs, then teams just can figure that out, and then they're just going to over the last. Besides Boone's last 2 years, which he used a Joe Girardi roster. He used the roster that he inherited from Joe Girardi in 2017 he hired the roster that Girardi had in 2018 and 2019. They had 100-win seasons, and then after that, players have been moved on, and you can see the lineup they've been trying to build is home run, home run, home run. So I'm not happy with this. Who knows? Maybe in the few years this will completely come back and age poorly, and Donaldson will be the best player in the league. But I don't see this happening. So this is my first ever YouTube video. I don't know how often I'll make videos, and if big news does come out, I will report on it, just not right away because I do work. So I will see where I go from here and see what this channel becomes. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.